Hey, what's going on, bike people of the internet? Welcome to part 2 of this 1998 Cannondale CAAD3 Team Saeco replica restoration. In part 1 we assessed the bike, found out some bad things about it, removed the stuck bottom bracket which was absolutely filthy on the inside, stripped the bike down to a bare frame and gave it a quick wash down to see what we're working with, and that's where we're going to start this video. So after the last video where we tore down this beautiful 1998, I think, Cannondale CAAD3 Saeco, I'll put a link up here or maybe here, right now. We gave the frame a quick wash just to look how bad the details were, how bad the paintwork was. Next we've got to rebuild it. First thing, we need to detail the frame, so give it a good polish. Sort out all the components. They are a bit crusty and not so fantastic right now. So we're going to do that and then rebuild it. There's a couple of extras I bought to get this bike up to speed. I've bought some new bars, a new saddle and new chain, a few other bits and pieces. But yeah, we're pretty much there, ready for the rebuild now. So follow along and see how this one goes. Yeah, first thing, let's have a fly around the frame, remember where we're at and start detailing it. So this is the current condition of the frame before we detail it. Let's do a detailed inspection. I've got a bit of a light just there, and that's something for the maybe next video. That's not going to be loads to do on that one, but let's concentrate on the Cannondale for now. I've got a light just here to get a bit closer. Howdy. So it's not particularly shiny, the frame. You can see all these marks in it and it's a bit greasy and horrible generally. I think we've got to lose this Mavic sticker. I don't think it's savable and the edges are a bit too frilly to be saved, which is a bit of a shame because I'm going to use some Mavic wheels on this build. The top tube's okay. Around the Saeco logo there's a tiny bit of oxidization there, if you can see it in camera. There's a couple of marks, almost like paint marks. I'm not sure if they're scratches. See, it comes off. So hopefully we'll get those removed. Moving along, it's not too bad. I'm going to replace the seat post. I generally don't like single bolt seat posts, so I've got something pretty cool to go in there. Let's go down the seat tube next. Again, there's a couple of shiny silver marks. This one's not too bad. We've got some plastic bolts in here and there's these silvery marks again. So we can see if we can remove those. The question is, are they through the paint into the aluminium or are they on top of the paint? I think in this case this is through the paint, the clear coat and paint into the aluminium. On the down tube, this is where most of the problems are. This yellow looks more faded to my eyes than it comes across on camera. This looks more vivid on camera. This looks quite a pale, custard yellow, and it should be a bit more vibrant than that. So hopefully with a polish, some of that might come back. There's spots of corrosion here, which I'm going to try around this. I don't know what you call these, where they would originally had the levers here. Shift the lever bosses maybe. Obviously it's not a thing on modern frames and they got rid of them after this one version, I think. There's some corrosion there, so I've got to be careful not to break through the paint. And on the down tube there's patches of corrosion where it's pretty awful, to be fair. And I'm going to rebuild this frame as is for now and maybe respray it in the future, but we're going to keep it for at least this summer to have something to ride around on. Not that I haven't got a bunch of other bikes, but something to ride around on, and it's cool as hell. We're going to use this one. Again, we've got corrosion on the front of the frame around the headset there, and we generally just need to increase the luster so you can again see the bubbly corrosion all around here. This is, I believe this is from the aluminium alloy. So aluminium alone isn't a very reactive material. to corrosion, I should say, like pure aluminiums. Once you alloy it with like magnesium and copper, that's where the corrosion comes through. So not ideal. And again, you can kind of see the bubbling on the down tube there. So eventually this will need a new paint job, but this should be only on the surface. It shouldn't be working its way through the frame, fingers crossed. We'll find out anyhow. So yeah, this shows you how bubbly it is on the bottom. And maybe on my last video I didn't show you this as well as I could have, but I think now on this video you can see why I keep saying it probably will need a repaint in the future. And to be fair, to repaint a Cannondale Saeco is okay, because this is just General Motors, or is it General Motors? The Dodge Viper anyhow, maybe that's Chrysler. It's a Chrysler red. This is Dodge Viper red in the paint code according to vintage Cannondale anyhow, so it's not like a devastatingly hard colour to match in the future should you want to do something similar. Rear end is not particularly bad. Got corrosion here and there. If it will focus on my hand. See it bubbling up around there. And the chain state, this is looking pretty ratty, so I might potentially pull this off and do something there. Oh, it's looking pretty terrible down there as well. So yeah, let's give it a clean detail and see how good we can make it look with its current sort of state. So the first thing we need to do is remove this sticker. It's too frilly, so we can't reuse it really. It's just going to detract from our look. So hopefully the colour hasn't faded too much underneath. I think it's going to be an easy peel. I thought I might have to time lapse this, but clearly not. The good thing about this, it will show a good baseline of what the paint potentially could look like, because it shouldn't be sun exposed or scratched under here, so that's going to be a good starter for 10. Okay, yeah, not too bad. Right, let's detail up this frame. So to start this detailing process off, we're going to start with the old T-cut rapid scratch remover, which is not as harsh as it sounds, especially on something as badly sort of chipped and faded as this frame. And we've got some fresh microfiber towels. So this should be the acid test for this bike, if it's going to look good or not. We'll start with this and see what we end up looking like, and we're going to focus on some of these areas where we got, like, I don't know, paint transfer, I guess, and see if we can make it look good. Time for a time lapse. So after that first round, I'm actually pretty happy with the way it's looking. It's never going to win anything because there's scratches through the paint, but generally the luster has come up really good. I'm going to give it another round of T-cut because I think it still could be better. There's kind of, let me grab a light. It's kind of a bit shimmery and inconsistent everywhere and a bit orange peely, and we've got a couple of marks here and there I want to try to get rid of. But overall, it's not too bad. Obviously, the paint is bubbling, and there's nothing we can do about that until we respray it. But for now, it's not bad. One more round of T-cut, I think. So after the second round of polish, I'm actually, really happy with it. I think it's good enough now for most people. Reality is like I say, it needs a respray. I think I'm just going to go over it with some Autoglim super resin polish next, because I think it fills in a few scratches and it just acts a bit different to the T-cut. The way it polishes and fills also definitely brings out the luster a bit. So I'm going to give it a round of super resin polish. Only thing I wanted to do is I think I'm going to remove this Sigma Sport and San Marco Selli Italia, because they are not under the clear coat. And I noticed that when I was polishing it. So I don't feel like I need to advertise Sigma Sports. I'm pretty sure that's the Sigma Sport UK shop, and Selli San Marco is just, it's not straight on there. It's an annoying thing, and this bike is not having a Selli San Marco saddle either. So let's remove these two stickers. So with the T-cut done on a frame and it's looking okay, we're going to use some Autoglim super resin polish next. And this is one of my, it's not sponsored, you can buy this for about 15 quid. It's one of my favorite products for cars and bikes, because it's got some like resins in here that fill in the sort of micro scratches you get. And it works really well for a sort of finish polish on a bike. Definitely brings up the luster next level up from the T-cut. So give this a go if you're into bicycle restorations. So after the Autoglim super resin polish, I think it's looking really good now. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera, but like the luster of the frame is definitely there now. And I think it looks fantastic. Obviously it's got chips and stuff, but from 5-10 feet away, that's gonna look absolutely awesome. So I'm going to give the forks a once over, similar to the frame, just to see if we can, it's a bit greasy and grimy, so we're just going to give it a polish and try to make this carbon look pimping. I think that's where we're at. We'll also give these feet a good inspection around here. This is potentially a 27-year-old carbon fork, which have blades bonded to aluminium sections, so we really want to pay attention and make sure that it's not likely to snap on us. So we're going to give this a good polish and general good inspection all over, visual inspection, to make sure that it's not going to be dangerous. So after that round of detailing, these forks are looking, if I can get it to focus, pretty decent down here. There's a couple of scratches in the clear coat, like here I can't quite get rid of. You can kind of hear that with my fingernail. But overall, again, looking pretty good. We've got a couple of chips there, but the brake caliper will cover those chips in the black up there. I could retouch those, but don't think it'd bring much value. They're looking decent. So I wanted to do a quick time lapse of all the usual stuff I don't put on a video, showing how I restore the parts, and mostly it's just a detail stripped down and clean. On this Campagnolo stuff I did try to polish it up in places, but most of it's actually like anodized silver, so there's a silver aluminium, but it's been anodized and protected, so it's generally quite hard to polish it up without having to remove that anodizing in the first place, and the anodizing is quite hard. So yeah, I just try to remove the scratches and in places try to improve it the best I can, but generally a lot of the time on these restorations it is just cleaning and detailing and polishing the parts to try to restore them. It's not a quick 5-minute exercise unless you're just bolting new group sets to it. It's de-rusting bolts and trying to improve everything. I definitely on this bike the bolts are pretty corroded and could probably use a new set of bolts here, there and everywhere, but yeah, this is what a lot of it looks like, using little bits of I like GT85 and tin foil just to scratch out any rusty bits. But yeah, a lot of the time there's a lot of detailing goes on like this. I usually have a movie or the F1 on in the background just to keep my sanity, but yeah, this is what bike restoration looks like really. So as we get this build underway, I think this fork is a bit too long for me, so I want to cut it down a bit. So I'm just going to assemble the headset and the stem and work out how much to trim off. And for some reason I forgot to press record when scribing a line into the fork here, so trust me, I scribed a line in. You can see the scribe in my hand. One of the other things I need to do is I need to drive this star nut down. This is a 1-inch star nut. I don't have any spare, so I need to reuse this. I need to push it down before I can cut the steerer here. So I think this isn't going to allow me to do this. I think so. That's decked out, so I can't hammer my park tool in there. So I'm going to have to bodge this. I'm going to have to use a nut and just bolt and just drive it down a little further. So I've treated myself to the Park Tool saw guide 7.2, which has thin side and thick side. I guess it's for carbon blades maybe. So I'm going to chop this using the thin side. Sits in the bike stand okay, which is one of the things I liked. And I'm just eyeballing through here to see my scribed line, and I'm just going to make sure I cut slightly behind it. Okay, I think that's perfect. Make sure it's clamped down nice and tight. So this star nut's sitting too high now, so I need to drive that down, and once I've done that I can give this top edge a file around to smooth it off. Okay. Now we can knock this in perfectly. So let's get the forks and the stem installed, I think, next. Just to make sure we cut it just right. Just going to add a light bit of grease to keep out the weather. Just going to lube up the steerer. There's no ring in this section, so I want to make sure that's durable for the future and slides down there without rolling. Bit of grease on here will add a bit of corrosion protection as well. Can I fit these 2 spaces? And the stem, oh, just perfect. And here's a small spacer on the top there. Something feels like it's binding up there. Let's have a little explore. I want to make sure that that's interacting correctly. Okay, so you have to be careful here that if this spins around, that stem is going to wreak havoc on that frame without the handlebars on, but yeah, that'll do. I might change that one there potentially if I can find a suitable one because it's a bit marred up, but yeah, that's the fuselage ready for a build. So the bottom bracket we're going to go for is this Tifosi one I picked up off Amazon. Because we're reusing the Campagnolo group set, the bottom bracket is actually slightly unique. I don't know if I can show you on here. The spindles are offset left to right, so this side's shorter than this side. So if you use a standard Shimano one, it might not give you the right chain line. And I was lucky enough to find this relatively cheap on Amazon, of all places, with a carbon shell. The original Campagnolo bottom bracket was knackered, basically. It had a bit of play in it, and yeah, it wasn't long for the world. Which is a shame because I would like to reuse it, and a replacement was borderline 60 to 70 pound. Found this for about 26 on Amazon, so everything looks right on this. Only thing I can't tell from here is which is the install side. I'm assuming this side's the drive side, but yeah, let's get this installed. Let's just split this apart. I don't need to reuse these crank bolts because I got the lovely Campagnolo ones, so we'll retain those for another project. Nothing wrong with a fresh set of crank bolts. And this cup has got a little lip seal here and the bearings like pressed onto the axle, so I'm guessing it's this way in. Let's just give it a quick dry run. That looks like it goes in. Yeah. So that's the right way. Let's get some plenty of grease in here. Just gonna add a little bit of extra grease to this. That's home nice and tight. flip it around. Just getting some grease in there. And you might be thinking this looks a little greasy already. And that's because it is, because I forgot to press record. So I'm doing this the second time just for your pleasure. Okay, looks good. So this is the chain set I'm reusing, the Cannondale Veloce. I've given this a bit of a wet and dry and polish up to try to increase the luster. Some of the anodizing was coming off, especially on the non-drive side. It's a bit greasy because I've been touching it with greasy fingers, but it will clean up nicely. And I've taken the chain rings off and just generally tidied it all up. So let's get this installed and hopefully that looks about right. Got these nice Cannondale crank bolts. Yep, that feels about 40 Newton meters. Do nicely. Just get the non-drive side installed. That's pretty good, I think. Let's get the rear derailleur next. Reusing the Cannondale Veloce rear derailleur again. Oh. What we need to do, before I get that far ahead, is just add a little bit of grease to the system. Nice. And let's get this derailleur installed. The wheels I'm going to use for this build are these Mavic Casiriums. I think these are from '99, I think. You've got the chunky aluminium spokes. Ideally, I'd like to have the 4-spoke or maybe 8-spoke spin wheels, or maybe 3-spoke spinages, but they're incredibly expensive and not very reliable. I've got these in my parts supply, so I think these will look pretty swishy on it. So let's go for these. So the tyres we're going to fit to this are these Schwably Blizzard Sports. I don't know why you'd call a slick tyre Blizzard, but they're yellow. That's the main reason. These come off the previous Cannondale R700 build I did a year or two ago. These are 23C, so very tiny. Maybe they need a bit of a cleanup, but yeah, I'll link up the old R700 build there. So let's get these fitted. So got this specific spoke protector. It's like a dork disc, but because the spokes are aluminium on this, it's susceptible to bending. Probably best to reuse this. I was going to refit the cassette from the original wheel set that comes with this bike, but it's a 10-speed. It's a 10-speed cassette and a 9-speed bike, which I don't get. I guess someone chucked those wheels on, maybe to sell it cheaper, or I don't know what's quite going on there. But I only figured that out last night, so just to get it going, I'm going to fit this 8-speed road cassette. I've ordered a 2512 or 2511 on Amazon, so hopefully that comes ASAP and I can get this video out on schedule or on time. But I'm going to fit this 8-speed for now. It won't get the gears tuned in, but I'll be able to get the chain length right because it's the same size, big ring. So we'll get it dialed in once that cassette turns up, but I just want to get the rest of the build together and change that out at the end now, otherwise I'm going to waste today it's a bit wet and miserable outside in the UK, no surprise, so it's a good day for bike tinkering. Get this little one put on for now, and this will do us for the time being. I'm just securing the front wheel to the down tube here using a knackered old toe strap. This will stop the wheel and fork spinning around and the stem impacting the top tube that we noticed earlier. So I've purchased some new bars for this bike, these Dida Elemento ones. They're 38, which is pretty small, but they're 26, which is the same size as the stem, so size is limited options, but they're more of a compact drop than the originals, which I think looks better and is actually better to use as well. So only thing is I wanted to really get a 40 or 42, but it didn't have them in stock. And the 38 is outside to outside, not center to center. So yeah, they're pretty small bars. But we'll give them a go. That's the trend these days. I don't think it's a particularly good trend, but I'm gonna fit these for now because I bought them already. This loosely done up, what we'll do, we'll get this on the floor, get the bars orientated correctly relative to a horizontal line, and put the brifters on. So at this point you may have noticed the audio quality was getting worse, and at this point right now my lav mic has completely died on me, so I'm going to have to voice over this one to explain what I'm trying to do. I put the bike on the floor so I can get the alignment on the handlebars pretty good. So what my initial sort of guesstimate of position I want to do is I want to get the end of the handlebars, the sort of very base of the drops, on the vertical. So where the tube is cut, I want that cut to be vertical for a starting point, and I'm going to tune it in from there. I think on these ones I actually tilted up very fractionally, maybe 10 degrees, because it looked like the best way to get the top of the bars dead flat, and that's kind of what my personal preference is, to have a dead flat top of the bars and interaction with the shifters or brifters or whatever you want to call it, the brake shifters. That way you create a nice flat ledge. I think it's a big hands versus small hands thing. Yeah, I like these shifter hoods are too small for me, so I need to create a big flat area, I feel. So that's what my aim is in this section. So after a lot of faffing around and eyeballing positions of things, I think I'm just about there, and just everything looks right to me now. What I've done, I've created a nice flat ledge that is comfortable to place your hands on. The bars aren't perfectly vertical at the cut at the very base, maybe tilted up 10 degrees I think. But what that's done is created a real nice vertical place, horizontal place to place your hands, almost like a bar end from a 90s mountain bike, and I think that works best ergonomically for me. Maybe if you had small hands you could just grip onto the brifter alone, but for me I feel like a big flat place to place your hands is the best ergonomic solution for these bikes. It's individual preference at the end of the day, but yeah, I think it looks good as well. It looks good to have like a nice flat place to put your palms, and everything's in line. I don't have any towing on the brifters either. I don't really like that. It looks a bit cross-eyed to me, so dead straight for me. With the controls, brakes and derailleurs all installed, we can move on into the cabling section. Usually I would skip this when I'm filming, but I'm going to try to make a half decent edit of the cabling here. I'm going to not talk too much because there's not really any advice I can offer other than most of these road brifters use specific brake cables rather than the standard barrel end ones. They use the mushroom end ones, so it's a bit different. But yeah, I'm just going to try to make a bit of an edit of all the cabling on the bike, just for something different to do. Of course, just turned up an appropriate cassette for the bike. Boom. Nice and shiny. Up from waxing the chain. Let's give this a nibble. With all the cabling installed, let's move on to installing a chain, and I've gone for this KMC gold tie-nitride trided chain, just because it was a pretty good deal, not too much more expensive than the silver ones, and I really think the gold colour plays with the yellow accessories on the bike and just improves the overall aesthetic quite well. So here I'm shortening in the chain. I've got a couple too many links as standard because we're using a very small 1125 block and we've got a very short cage derailleur, so I think there's about 6 links too many than what is required. So yeah, I just need to shorten the chain, and yeah, it's all hunky-dory. I think the gold colour looks really good, and this is like a hollow pin super lightweight chain, which is definitely excessive to what we need. But I think it's the right aesthetic for the bike and didn't cost too much more, so sometimes you just have to go for what you think looks good. So for the bar tape, I've obviously going Cannondale or Cannondale. Cannondale? Can someone get in the comments? I think it's Cannondale. Yeah, we've got the classic cork. Ideally I would like red and yellow, but I can't seem to find that anywhere, so this red and black sort of spatter pattern will have to, or splash pattern will have to do. Let's get it installed. I don't like this single bolt seat post. It's a bit crusty and rusty, so let's change it. It's pretty small in the frame as well. It's like a tiny little seat post. If I can get it out. So it's a little proper, like super studly one. Yeah, there's not much going on there. To keep it Italian, I've got this Cannondale seat post, made in China. That's a sticker, so that needs to come off before it gets scraped off in the thing. But it's twin bolt micro adjust, got a bit of red on there. I think it would look pretty swish on this frame. So let's get this installed. The seat post's really dry in here, so I'm going to apply lots of lube into here because I don't trust it. Yep, that looks good to me. Let's just get that grease up from here. And for the saddle for this classic build, it had to be a flight titanium with a touch of red and touch of yellow. It's just a perfect combo for this bike. For the pedals, we're going to go for these 105 SPDSLs. They're pretty ancient, so that'll work about right for this bike. I can't see me ever taking it off-road. And the final thing, let's get some bottle cages on here. These bolts here irritate me. Plastic bolts, don't know what's going on there. Try to reuse these ones, I think. They're a little bit crusty, but that kind of suits the overall bike. I picked up these yellow Z-fold ones from Amazon. They're £6 for the pair, so pretty good. So let's get these installed. And with the bottle cages being the last thing to install, let's take it outside and have a look at it. So I'm pretty happy with the way this build has turned out. I definitely think we've improved it from the condition that we bought the bike in. I think when we bought it, it was a bit of an unloved state, and now it looks a bit more like a performance bike that it actually truly is. These Cannondale CAAD3 frames still go really hard and strong today. You can definitely ride them pretty hard and fast if you really want to. This is my second. They are quite rigid bikes, but if you kind of enjoy the feel that they provide, and they're very strong at sprinting, and they're good for a powerful rider, and they're not particularly heavy either. They definitely have a good ride quality that you can still enjoy in 2025. The 23C tires are pretty small and punishing. I forgot how hard 120 psi actually feels. After on my main road bike I'm running 32s at about 70 psi. There's a big change there, but overall I think the aesthetics of this bike are great. Obviously it's not a concourse version. It's kind of, we picked it up cheap and it's got its problems, but overall I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. It took a lot of cleaning to get to this point, and with the Selle Italia flight saddle and the stem being a touch more slammed with no chimney, I'm really happy with the way the overall looks of this bike perform. I think it's helped by the Syrian wheels. Ideally I would like some Spinergies in there, but yeah, I can't complain too much. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks overall. So yeah, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. It's first road bike I've done in a little while, maybe 2 years, so, and I've always fancied one of these CAAD3 Saecos, or maybe CAAD4 Saeco. If one comes up, I'm definitely going to buy it in my local area. But yeah, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and a subscribe is always greatly appreciated. And you've seen the next bike hopefully in the background of this video. It's that Gary Fisher Level Betty FH1. It's in really good condition, so you should be able to see that coming up soon, because there's not too much to do on it. I'm just waiting for a few parts to arrive, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.